Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Engler Journey podcast. I'm your host, Olivia Vanderford, and today I am here with another Engler entrepreneur who is continuing to grow in his entrepreneurial experience, Gage Schram, right?
Yep.
And it's so nice to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to learn more about your story.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you said you're from a soybean and corn operation in Springfield, Nebraska, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, very cool. So what do you love so much about the agricultural industry, and what are some of the things you've learned from growing up in that lifestyle?
Yeah. I mean, the ag industry, as anyone who's in it knows, it's a bug for sure. I mean, once you catch it, you have it. And I really enjoy it. I'm a seventh generation farmer, and agriculture has provided so much for my family for all these years that it's hard to not have a deep-seated passion for it for sure. And I see agriculture as a great opportunity to, I mean, obviously it's a lifestyle, it's a great way to raise a family. But at the end of the day, it's also just a fulfilling career in itself. And from the perspective of a job, it's just plain fun. It's great to meet all the new people you can get to that opportunity. And yeah, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, very cool. And I know you were talking about your business, kind of what you've been starting here in Engler, is bringing back some new ideas to the family farm, right?
Correct.
So could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is I see this operation that, you know, it's for the most part, my grandpa's still got a piece in it. My dad and uncle are pretty well split on most of it. So that being said, with so many different pieces into the puzzle, you really have to figure out where you best fit into that operation. And you know, Dad's not going to be ready to retire here when I graduate. And so it's one of those situations you have to find an opportunity that if you do get a chance to go back and run that operation someday, how can you stay close enough to agriculture that whatever you're doing vertically integrates very well back into the operation? You know, we talk about it realistically. By the time Grandpa retired, Dad was, you know, darn upper 40s, darn near 50. And that's where it's one of those situations that it's like, at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to make a career change at that point. And, you know, if I wasn't interested in it at all, then a guy would go work on Wall Street or go be an accountant for someone. But, you know, I think custom farming for a lot of guys adds a lot of value, and trying to just, you know, maybe get into a piece of equipment, something like a sprayer, or even guys that, you know, maybe they could see that they could add a truck to the operation, because stuff like that the work can be outsourced very easily. So that way, if your operation maybe doesn't support a larger machine, that's where that custom work's easy to get for sure.
Yeah, very cool. And I know, like, a lot of times family operations, it makes it stronger too, but there can also be some challenges there. What would be some of the best advice you've learned from your grandpa or maybe your dad about farming and maybe just working together?
Yeah, I think one thing that, you know, for me, it's never really bothered me to bring work home, because, again, I love what I do. It's my favorite thing. I mean, it's just fun doing it. But I think sometimes working with family, the lines get drawn. Sometimes what's happening around the dinner table is coming out to work. And I think that's tough, especially when, you know, your operation's growing to the point where you're having outside help coming in, you're hiring full-time guys, just to try and separate those a little bit and let that business run as a business. Let the numbers make the decisions. Don't have so much emotion tied into what you're doing and what decisions you're making, and obviously keeping yourself open to new ideas. All of that's just so important.
Yeah, definitely. And so, talking about the Engler program now, how did you discover the Engler program when you first came to UNL? Did you know about it when you first got here on campus?
Yeah, so I had a really close friend, Alexis Jansen actually, who's graduated here a while ago, and she and I were very close in high school, and she was telling me, hey, this Engler program, like, it's going to be right up your alley. You should really check it out, all this kind of stuff. And I'm an applied science major, which requires a minor. And I thought, this is a fantastic fit. I loved it. You know, some people like to draw. Some people like to skateboard. Some people like to sing. You know, I love business. I love doing business with people. I love talking business. I love running numbers. I love scheming new things up. And so that's where I thought this would just be a fantastic fit for me. And overall, I've enjoyed every second I've been here. And so I know I've, from time to time, maybe been kind of hard to find around the Engler space, but at the end of the day, I have spent a lot of hours up here that a lot of people haven't seen, and it's been really beneficial for me for sure.
Yeah, and what are some of your favorite things that you've learned from some of the classes that you've taken, maybe a favorite class, or maybe an instructor that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Professor Field, I mean, he's so much wisdom, so much knowledge, and I think that there's so much benefit to knowing all of this, having the right mindset and understanding how that entrepreneurial journey goes, along with how to tackle the next issues. But so obviously, those introductory classes, even the modules are so important. But I also think your 388 and your 488, I mean, at the end of the day, those are the skills that when the rubber meets the road, you're never going to do anything without doing it. And those are the classes where you do it. And, not only does the coursework kind of force you into that and it forces your hand, but even if it's a situation where, maybe your 388 project and you call all these people, you do all this work, it comes down to it, really isn't going to work out, that's okay. You have so much knowledge and such a skill bank now that you can put into any other business that you think maybe has a better chance of being viable, for sure. Same with 488, it's the same exact way.
Yeah, so many different skills you learn in that class. And those two classes, like pitching, being able to talk to people, I mean, that's a big skill when you're being an entrepreneur. So talking about more in the Engler program outside of classes, what have been some of your favorite experiences maybe you've had, or maybe just some conversations with people that you've met, different spaces in the Engler program that you really enjoy, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been great just to see, guys like, I look at a good friend of mine, Carter Ott, and he's just done really well in the over on city campus, new venture, and he's, I think he's really going to skyrocket. And I really like what he's got going on. He's one of those guys. He's just, again, very, very grounded, very intelligent, very wise, and he's been great to get to know and really be close with, for sure. It's kind of one of those guys. You look up to him because he's very much, he's doing his own thing in the best way possible. I mean, he's definitely just really well set. He's very confident in what he believes. He does what he wants to do, and he believes in himself, which is really motivating, for sure. But other than that, I mean, it's just you get some people. I remember I spoke with during 388, a mentor of mine, and he sat me down. He goes, "You're gonna do this. Like, I can see it. I can tell you're gonna do it." And that felt really good, because you don't get that all the time. You get a lot of skepticism, or your buddies are, okay, you know, whatever. It's a new business idea. Everyone's got a new business idea. But to hear someone really say, "No, you're gonna do this. I can see you're gonna do this, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna go well." That was really motivating to hear, for sure. So
yeah, mentors are really important in entrepreneurs' lives. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So talking about Paul Engler in the program, what would you say about his legacy and his impact that he's had on this program?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously what brings all this here. I mean, it's truly been a blessing to have his support, and his story in itself is so motivating. I mean. Especially like for me, I found myself that a lot of times you get started in something like, trying to do some custom farming and stuff like that. That overhead cost, that overhead implementation is so high that once you're doing it, and you're pretty well committed because you're putting a lot of capital forward. And to hear his story and know how he just goes off and he just pulls the trigger and does it, that was really motivating to hear, for sure. And I think that's a story that can't be told enough, for sure, because that is always the scariest step, is just diving in off the deep end. And his pool was really deep when he jumped, but he made it out. He figured out how to swim and obviously excelled.
Yeah, and really shows the importance of taking risks, taking that next step. And he was in the ranch life, loved the ranch life, and bought his first head of cattle. And I know you're on the rodeo team, right, here at UNL?
Yep.
So what has your experience been with rodeo? When did you get started? Why did you want to get involved?
Yeah, so I guess I started kind of being around rodeo. My dad always did it. He rodeoed here for the university. So that was obviously a big thing for me. Like, I remember when I was a young kid, you know, I was starting to rope and all that kind of stuff. We'd go to like a Husker football game, and it was always, oh man, the Huskers, like it's cool to be the Huskers. But to be honest, I knew I always wanted to be a Husker rodeo athlete. I wanted to rodeo. I didn't want to see I never saw myself, you know, as a little kid playing at Memorial Stadium. I saw myself rodeoing for the University of Nebraska with the Husker N on my back and doing my best to represent the program. And so I got to college my freshman year and jumped right into the program. It's been fantastic for me. I've had, you know, some great opportunities to meet great people. I served some time as the president of the program there for a bit, and that was fantastic. It took me all across the Midwest, meet all sorts of people, just fantastic, you know, skills that you get, and it's fantastic connections, fantastic network that you build. Overall, it was just a great growing experience for me. And as I've done it now for the last 4 years, we're drawing to an end here. At the end of the week, it's a little bittersweet for sure. So, yeah. Yeah,
and what are some of the events that you do? What's the process, maybe the practice that goes into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a job. We practice every day of the week. You know, I team rope and I steer wrestle, and we practice every day of the week, Monday through Thursday. Usually hit the road on Friday, but it's every day. Takes your day from 2:30 in the afternoon till 7:30. You better mark it off because that's what you'll be doing. And but it's been great. It's a great group of people. That program's growing like crazy. We've got a fantastic new facility that's getting built just across campus right now. I think that the future of that program is immense, and I think it's going to draw a lot of really good athletes to this university, to rodeo for Nebraska, for sure.
Yeah, so quite the commitment, though. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and so do you steer wrestles? Is that what you said? Or
Yep, correct.
Okay, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so how does that work then? You're on the horse and then jump off? Right? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. I have a coach of mine. He's actually the coach at Southeast Community College, Reed Krager, and he's like, it's really tough to explain what I do for a living because it's hard to tell people you ride a horse and then you jump off and you catch a cow and then you throw it in the dirt. It's pretty it's not complicated, but it's hard to
explain.
It's hard to explain, right? So anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's how your steer wrestling works. Obviously, your team roping, you know, a lot of people know how that works. You just one person goes out, ropes ahead, the other one ropes feet, and get a time. Fastest time wins. But yeah, so that's been the big thing for me is that rodeo program. I mean, it's given me a second family here at the university for sure. I mean, obviously, when I came here, I had all sorts of different communities to be a part of. You know, I was in Alpha Gamma Rho there at East Campus, and those were 100 of my best friends, and they were great dudes. I've seen a lot of great people that I've met through Engler. You know, some guys you think of like even like Sam Scavdall or you think of like any of those Miracle Boys. I mean, all those people are just kids that you probably would have never, first of all, maybe gotten to know, but second of all, become such good friends without this program. And then obviously the rodeo program in itself, it's got people, you know, every year it comes and goes, and it takes you all across the Midwest. You're meeting all sorts of people from all different schools. And the second these college rodeos are done, we're all back off on our own, and we're all hitting the summer rodeos and going down the road. And so you've got all these new people. You're calling new people, asking, hey, you know, what'd this calf do here? What'd this steer do here? All this kind of stuff. It's really great. I mean, I could go anywhere in the Midwest right now and know somewhere where I can stay for the night or something like that. And so it's really a blessing for sure.
Yeah, very cool. And what would you say rodeo has taught you in terms of skills for being an entrepreneur? Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely like it's your own thing. And a lot of people look at it as a hobby. I think a person needs to look at it as a business. You need to think of it as you are your own business, and you need to run your finances as so. A lot of people will do it, that's their fun, and that's great, but especially at the college level, you're already working with a pretty minimal capital to start with, and so you got to make sure your books are in order, and you got to make sure, like, if you're going to go run down the road to go enter this rodeo here or this jackpot here, you got to make sure that you're making money, you're trying to make some money doing it, because you'll run yourself dry and it won't work. So I think that's where it's really important to really make sure you're just running it like a business, letting the numbers talk, let the numbers do the deciding for you, where you're driving, when you're driving, who's taking what rig, all that stuff is super important. And that's what's great about the college rodeos is it takes a lot of that financial burden off of you, for sure, but it still gives you a good opportunity to see how it works.
Yeah. And what would you say is your best advice you'd give to a new member of Engler, maybe just considering a business but doesn't know if they really want to start it yet?
Yeah, I mean, the fact of it is, you're, for the most part, not out much. Obviously, if you do go buy yourself a $500,000 machine, that's, like we said before, that's a big commitment.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's a lot of opportunities to make. I've said this, there's a billion ways in this world to make $1 million, especially now. And that being said, I think if you get creative enough, a lot of people will pay for things you would never expect. New things are getting invented every day. Anyone can, even as far as down to like selling a course or anything like that. I mean, people can do crazy things like that with little or no overhead. So your barrier to entry is a lot lower. And when you get the opportunity to join Engler, by all means, dive in head first and go all in at it. There's nothing but fantastic resources here. There's a team of people. There's an entire community that want nothing but the best for you and your business and seeing you succeed. And I think that's so cool to see. As a student myself, I've been through 4 years of it here. Like I said, I'm graduating here in 2 weeks. And so it's really neat to just see it all come full circle, for sure.
Yeah, and just taking that first step is really the hardest part.
That's it.
But once you do it, you're going. You're ready to be an entrepreneur.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So if you had to pick a book or a movie or a song of any kind that you think relates to entrepreneurship or your experience here in Engler, what would that be?
That's a good one. I think one book that I've read and reread and reread and reread has been Do the Work. And that's a book we read here in the program. And, first of all, part of it may be because it is such an easy read, but I think what that book is for me, it's like watching a motivational video on YouTube. I mean, it's a little kick in the rear of like, let's just clear our minds. Let's focus on what needs to come first. Let's get all the distractions and the resistance away. And then you can just excel forward. And I think that's where it's just a great message. And I know I've shared that book with a lot of people. Even stuff down to like chop wood, carry water. That's another fantastic book where it's pretty well understood what needs to happen. Like everyone knows how the process works, but like that book, that story really just emphasizes the consistency element and the value that brings.
Yeah, 2 incredible books from right here in the Engler program.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, love those. And so 20 years from now, what are you going to be most thankful for being a part of the Engler program?
I think the thing I'm going to be most grateful for is the community that's brought me, the people I know, but also the knowledge that it's brought me. I mean, I have so many connections and I have so much knowledge now as to how different things happen. Even I used to be I never would have thought the idea that, you build scale and sell a business. Never crossed my mind. I grew up, my mom sold real estate and my dad's a farmer. Those are 2 businesses. You get in them, you run them, and then it takes you to retirement. And that's really changed my perspective for sure. And I think in 20 years, it'll be a situation where I look back and I say I really gained a lot of value from that program, and just be really grateful for all that knowledge, and knowing that by being in this program, it cut out all the wishy-washy, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, maybe 3 steps forward, 2 steps back type situations, because it gives you just such a clear direction and a great sense of how to go down, a certain road and achieve the goal at hand and all that sort of stuff. I think that's what I'm going to be most thankful for sure.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people always say the community and the people. That's kind of what makes the Engler program the Engler program.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Gage, for being here today. I'd love learning more about your story, and I can't wait to see all that you will do in the future with the skills you've gained from this program.
That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.